Think of the human body as a massive, highly coordinated factory. The floor workers in this factory are your standard hormones. They travel through the bloodstream to execute specific physical tasks. But a factory this size requires a layer of middle management to keep the operation organized. We see a strict division of labor here. Normal hormones target non-endocrine organs, like telling a muscle cell to absorb sugar or the liver to store fat. Trophic hormones, our middle managers, have a different assignment. They strictly target other endocrine glands. This distinction is clear in the flowchart. On the left, standard insulin goes directly to a muscle cell. On the right, a trophic hormone hits a secondary gland, the thyroid, acting as an internal order to start producing its own hormones. This delegated action defines the trophic hormone. In an exam context, remember it as a chemical messenger that acts as a stimulator, causing another endocrine gland to grow and release its respective hormones. They are the body's biological delegates. By focusing their targets on other endocrine glands, trophic hormones ensure that metabolic, growth, and reproductive systems are perfectly synchronized. The source of these managers is the command center of the endocrine system, the anterior pituitary, often called the master gland. As shown here, the pituitary sits at the base of the brain, but it has a boss. Directly above is the hypothalamus, the CEO. It controls the pituitary by sending releasing factors downward, dictating exactly when it should deploy trophic managers. This top-down hierarchy allows the brain to take external signals, like stress or temperature changes, and translate them into specific chemical orders for the body. To recall the trophic hormones produced by the anterior pituitary, use the acronym FLAT. F is follicle-stimulating hormone, and L is luteinizing hormone. Both target the gonads. A is adrenocorticotropic hormone, stimulating the adrenal cortex. Finally, T is thyroid-stimulating hormone, acting on the thyroid. Now it's your turn. Pause the video, cover the screen, and write out what F, L, A, and T stand for, and their targets. Practicing this active recall now makes the definitions permanent. Textbooks often use two similar terms, trophic with a P and trophic with a PH. Trophic refers to the release of another hormone. Trophic refers to stimulating the physical growth of the target tissue. Because most of these hormones perform both tasks simultaneously, causing growth and triggering a release, the terms are frequently used interchangeably in exams. However, the body cannot continue these processes indefinitely. To prevent a runaway overproduction of hormones, the endocrine system uses a biological version of a thermostat. The cycle begins when the pituitary releases TSH down to the thyroid gland. The thyroid responds by producing thyroxine. As thyroxine enters the bloodstream, its levels rise. High concentrations travel back to the pituitary, acting as a stop signal to halt TSH production. This negative feedback loop is an essential biological brake. It maintains hormonal balance and prevents the metabolic diseases caused by overactive glands. We can apply these rules to a diagnostic question. If a patient's adrenal glands are physically shrinking and failing to produce hormones, which specific trophic manager from the FLAT protocol is missing? The missing piece is ACTH. Without it, the adrenal cortex lacks the signal to release its hormones, and because it lacks the trophic growth signal, the physical tissue begins to shrink. This summary consolidates the definition, the source, the FLAT acronym, and the feedback loop. Mastery of these 4 pillars provides the specific evidence needed to identify hormonal disorders and understand glandular health. Understanding this system explains how the brain uses a centralized chain of command to coordinate billions of cells and maintain metabolic stability.